Hey friends, I've been thinking about connection recently, and I think that's one of the most important things in trying to prevent suicide, depression, things of that nature. Um, and the reason is pretty straightforward, but the research is pretty interesting. So I want to talk about both sides of it. There is a small connection between teams winning a major sports championship and suicides going down in that area, um, which would suggest that people are looking for any form of connection that they can get, even if it there's some sports teams have there's only one team in the whole state, right? If they win a championship, it's rare and it's exciting, and but you're looking for a connection with every person in your state. Um, so the decrease doesn't last long. It usually lasts days or weeks, not months. Um, but it's there, and I think that's significant. The other side of that, I was looking at um, rates of suicide for Hurricane Katrina around the time of Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, and the rate in 2004 was about 9 per 100,000 people that committed suicide. And the rate in 2006, around the time of Hurricane Katrina, was about 19 per 100,000 people. That's according to Tulane University. So it more than doubled. Um, the reason for this was probably because of over a million people's homes were displaced. Um, crisis places, mental health places closed because they were flooded, and they probably just didn't have the resources to deal with a problem on that scale. But this is a trend that we see not just with Hurricane Katrina, but more recent disasters. Um, and it's interesting because we do come together um, for a brief period, like after 9/11. Americans came together. Patriotism was at an all-time high. Things of that nature. But the the depression and the effects of suicide seem to linger a bit more. It took years after 2006 for um, the rates to stabilize, um, and it's an interesting trend. Um, I talk about this a lot in my sessions. Is that people that are feeling lonely, you should go to the grocery store. You should talk to, even if it's just like a casual conversation. Hi, how are you? Bye. See you later. I'll never see you again in my life. Um, People can sit in their house all day and not talk to anyone, right? Or talk to people through a screen. That feels very inauthentic to me. Um, if there's ever a way that we can sort of foster these connections on a national scale, foster the connection of a sports team winning a championship for long periods of time. I know it's a tall task, and I'm not a utopianist. I don't believe that human nature can be perfected um, until Jesus comes again or we're on the other side. Um, but I do think that there are things we can do to better our connections with people. Um, and I think this goes to the broader point of what happens when you are suicidal. There's also research showing that people that are going into inpatient therapy, they come out with worse. Um, they're more suicidal than when they went in. So that's like the opposite effect that it should be having. And the reason for that is you go in, they take all your stuff so that you can't harm yourself with anything, which is good. You don't, if there's any possibility of self harm, you want to limit that and you want to take that away. But you're often by yourself. You're not, um, you don't know people, and the people that you're around are often at a proclivity for some of the same behaviors and some of the same afflictions as you. So I don't see a lot of help in that. I think um, the better approach is to try to foster a long term plan. What do you want in your relationship? Do you want to get married? Um, what do you want as a job? Are you not succeeding in your current job? Do you have a job? Um, these are the sort of motivational interviewing questions that we need to be asking. And if people get therapy at all in inpatient facilities, I've been reliably informed that it's not really that. It's let's try a cocktail of different medications and see what happens. Um, which again, I'm not saying that medication cannot be effective at times. I think it certainly can, but you got to watch out for the side effects. And it seems to be creating more problems than it's solving to a certain degree. So we need to foster these connections. That's my concern with AI. I don't I don't think that'll help. Um, Although it's a great information gathering source, so AI has its benefits as well. But you need to have meaning in your life. That I think is the greatest. Like I said in my first video, trying to combat nihilism. That is the greatest way to get rid of it. Nobody's truly a nihilist, right? Because you're always, if you're feeling something and you explain it as, well, I'm not feeling anything, nothing matters. Really, what you're feeling is pain. You just don't want to describe it that way. And the best way to get rid of pain is, what do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? What kind of person? What kind of character do you want going forward? Because people that are suicidal, they can't see the future. They can't. They don't see themselves in it. They might think about, well, my loved one will get over me in a year or so, which is not true either. The hole that somebody leaves, I talked about this, is it'll never go away. The world will never be the same. You're not. It's not. You're not a burden. You're not. It's not a solution. Um, Much better to have you here, because we can always do something to make the situation better. Suicide is um, a final solution to a temporary problem, and so I wanted to make this video a little bit more uplifting, but we ended up talking about suicide anyway. But so that is my primary contention, is that connection, even the smallest bit, right? The connection that you form in the grocery store with the cashier, it's not a real connection, but it's enough to get you to the next day. And then you form another one, and another one. And before you know it, you might meet your wife, right? Like, that's how it happens, right? And so those are my contentions. That's the research to back it up. Reach out if you're struggling, please. And your life matters to me, matters to God, matters to everybody around you. And feel free to reach out. God bless.